they're something around a couple of them. I think that I heard them say next year they're going to bring out.
This is one flag here. Protecting the Amtrak engine. Right back there. Amtrak train.
It's on the 611 man.
Oh, yeah. You see the nose of the 812?
We can put that 40 in here. Leave it.
And that's correct.
All right, thank you.
You know I'm fine, kid.
All right, thank you.
Got a ride for about 7 miles.
We have now Iowa Pacific. What was 515, its official number is 515, but it's been renumbered for our event for today as a Central of Georgia locomotive number 812. Yesterday it ran around as an Illinois Central locomotive, and all those paint schemes are appropriate for this type of locomotive.
Yeah. I see in the agree with the when they came down here, they were sitting down in Seminole. Painted that way. Yeah, kind of fascinating.
Go to the base before the excursion. Do I know? Go to the base before the excursion gets here.
This locomotive is an E8 built by Electromotive Division of GM in 1953. It's currently owned by Iowa Pacific Holdings. It's pulled both passenger and freight trains, operated in the cold winters of Chicago and the desert heat of Arizona. Originally, it pulled long-distance passenger trains from Chicago and Northwestern at number 5029B. In the early 1960s, it was rebuilt and used for commuter service. A 1974 rebuild saw it renamed as Metra, number 515, and it continued to serve on the Chicago and Northwestern. Later, it was acquired by Iowa Pacific Holdings for the Arizona Eastern Railway painted black and silver and renumbered AZER number 6070 for use on the Copper Spike excursion train. 2 years ago, the locomotive was moved back to Chicago, where it now wears the Iowa Pacific colors, inspired by Illinois Central's passenger paint scheme, and normally has the number 515.
Yeah, that 501's going to be close. It just needs a blow there when you go in.
We're looking right now at Canadian National 6789. It's owned by a private owner, and it's leased to the Monticello Railway Museum in Illinois. This locomotive was built in 1959 by Montreal Locomotive Works. It's an FPA4, 1,800 horsepower, and has a 251 12-cylinder prime mover. Just like an Alco, it'll bellow up some smoke here. This locomotive was built for passenger service with the Canadian National and was transferred to Via Rail Canada when Canada transitioned to a government-run passenger train service that's similar to Amtrak here in the United States. Its last regular service was at the Toronto to Montreal corridor. The unit arrived at Monticello Railway Museum in 1994 and was repainted into its as-built Canadian National colors. This locomotive will be going onto our photo freights running this morning. It'll join the freight train that those of you who were here yesterday saw running with the 80 set of Lackawanna units. The track that runs in front of the museum site along the main street through town here will be the track to watch that on, and they'll move from the north and south end of the property. Once they get that locomotive coupled up to the train, they'll be entertaining all of us with that throughout most of the morning.
Couple of E-units.
Now we have the New Haven 2019 coming out of the turntable. What's happening now is we're getting ready for cab tours. Some of these locomotives you see out on the turntable here will not be open for cab tours, but others will be. They just have to shuffle some around so they can put the correct ones in the bays that are available for that. sounds a little different when it sounds off. It has a steam horn instead of, or steam whistle instead of a regular locomotive horn. This is an FL9 built in 1960 by EMD, division of General Motors. It has 1,800 horsepower, powered by a 567D 16-cylinder prime mover. There were 60 of these FL9s built for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad, also known as just the New Haven. They're unique in that they have a 2-axle truck and a 3-axle truck, which helps spread their weight out so that they can cross the Park Avenue Viaduct leading into Grand Central Terminal. The design of the FL9 allowed it to be powered both by diesel electric power and also from electrified third rail, which allowed these trains from Grand Central Terminal to reach Boston and other non-electrified destinations without having to change their engine or New Haven. This is the longest of the F units. It's 58 feet long, and it's also the youngest Streamliner at our event. The restoration of the locomotive was actually completed just a few weeks before our event, and the finishing touches were actually put on it here at Spencer before the event opened. So in addition to being the youngest built locomotive, it is the most recently restored of our group here today. It still operates on the former New Haven line in northwestern Connecticut. We do have folks with the Railroad Museum of New England here to talk about this locomotive and their facility. We also have folks from the Monticello Railway Museum who own or leases the Canadian National Union we just saw. In fact, we have representatives from almost all of these locations and a lot of historical societies associated with these railroads on site. We have railroad people, we have historical societies, museums, and so forth. They're all in the route house set up with exhibit tables, and they'll be glad to share information about their locomotives and or their facilities with you. Stop by and see them as you walk through the roundhouse and view our other displays that are here normally. Soo Line 2500, owned by the Lake Superior Railroad Museum.
Gary, you still want to put this on the rear of the brake, correct? Just start taking up there, check the spring switch, and put it on the freight train, and then come back here, back over to the accident lead.
This is an FP7 locomotive. It was built in 1949 by a locomotive division. It was actually built as a demonstrator locomotive for EMD. Demonstrator locomotives were built by the manufacturer in an effort to transition railroads from steam to diesel power. The unit was sent to the Canadian Pacific Railway and then to CP's subsidiary, the Soo Line. Apparently the locomotive performed so well for the Soo Line that it was purchased by the railroad in May of 1950. It originally pulled passenger trains such as the Laker from Chicago to Duluth, Minnesota, but spent most of its career pulling freight trains. When it was retired in 1986, it was donated to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum and it underwent a massive restoration. 2500 is often used to pull trains on the North Shore Scenic Railroad. The folks that are here from the Lake Superior Railroad Museum have some neat pictures of this locomotive teamed up with a Duluth, Masabi, and Iron Range SD9 pulling an empty hopper train just recently. It gets to do that duty when railroads move cars to and from storage. It will have to be called to service to serve in that freight capacity. This locomotive is 1,500 horsepower. It has a 567B 16-cylinder prime mover.
I know. I'll bring this Soo Line at 15. Go ahead and hit him in the shop there. I'm up here cranking 6,900 right now.
Yeah. We're running into a stall.
Go ahead, over. Go ahead, Soo Line.
9911A. Folks in front of the locomotive will get to see the oscillating headlight for greater visibility. Comes out on the turntable.
Behind those other units waiting to get to the table.
And the 9911A is a Burlington route locomotive owned by the Illinois Railway Museum. It's an E5 built in 1940 by Electromotive Corporation, which was the predecessor to Electromotive Division of General Motors. It has 2,000 horsepower from two 567 12-cylinder prime movers. And it's named the Silver Pilot. It was one of only 11 cab units of this type built. And it's the only one remaining in the world. All of these units were built for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, also known as the Burlington route or its subsidiaries. The E5 units were very similar to the E3, E4, and E6 engines, but were clad in stainless steel to match the Burlington Zephyr trains. This locomotive last ran on Fort Worth and Denver Railway's Texas Zephyr. At the Illinois Railway Museum, it is matched with the Nebraska Zephyr, a 5-car articulated stainless steel 1936 passenger train. I thank the folks at the Illinois Railway Museum for providing this locomotive for us at the event. And we do have people here with IRM to talk about it and other aspects of their facility inside the roundhouse. By the way, Trains Magazine is streaming live from our event. So for those that aren't lucky enough to be here, you can at least tune in by the internet and take a look at everything going on here at the roundhouse. And standing up on top of the roundhouse there is our official videographer from C&NW Productions. We will have an official video of the event coming out toward the summer. We'll have more information available on it online as soon as it's getting ready. We also have an official book being published for the event, which will be available later this summer. You can get a preview of that book by purchasing a $2 preview booklet inside the gift shop area in the roundhouse. For $2, you'll get a preview with some photographs and some information about all of these engines. You can also pre-order the book here, and if you pre-order, you'll get a special free shipping, and you'll get the book signed by the author.
On the rear, you can set the brakes on. Okay, set them up. Are you on the E5? No, I am not. I just parked him and came back up here to the Turntable. Slide on the head in there, 6789 over. You got an application on the rear end right here over.
Chase gun wherever you walk. Pictures of my goddamn head.
done with that?
In service. Definitely has the in-service look. Yeah, we'll change it till the afternoon.
We're now looking at Chesapeake, Ohio, number 8016. It's an F3 built in 1948 by Locomotive Division. It's currently owned by the Chesapeake and Ohio Historical Society. And it's currently on loan to the Potomac Eagle Scenic Railroad, who's operated it since 1994 on their excursion trains in West Virginia. We have folks from the Potomac Eagle here to talk about their facility and their trains. I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you about this locomotive and their B&O 722 that's here as well, and tell you all about the train rides that they can provide in West Virginia. 8016 began her life on the Clinchfield Railroad, which was famous in North Carolina as a coal hauling railroad between Elkhorn City, Kentucky and Spartanburg, South Carolina. It was originally Clinchfield 800, operated in freight service through the Brace Interstate Park, on down the famous loops in North Carolina, down to Spartanburg. Later the year, it was assigned to business train passenger excursion service on the Family Line system, then went to Seaboard system, and finally CSX, where it served both an executive train service and spent some time pulling road railway trains between Cincinnati and Atlanta. It was assigned CSXT road number 116, and when it was returned, it went to the C&NW Historical Society. It was retired from CSX service in early 1990. We now have Baltimore Ohio 722A, which is owned by the Potomac Eagle Scenic Railroad. It's an F7 built in 1952 by EMD. It's a 1,500 horsepower locomotive with a 567B 16-cylinder prime mover. The locomotive was originally built for the Bessemer and Lake Erie Railroad. It spent much of its career in B&LE freight service throughout northwestern Pennsylvania and northeastern Ohio. In its final years of the B&LE, it worked on the line's Taylor branch before it was retired and went to Larry's Truck and Electric. The Potomac Eagle Scenic Railroad acquired the engine in 2001 and repainted it in the line's own blue and gray paint scheme. But in 2010, it was painted in the Baltimore Ohio paint scheme that you see here. This is the passenger paint scheme used by the B&O, and it maintained its original 722 number. The unit continues to provide service on the tourist railroad, the Potomac Eagle Scenic Railroad in West Virginia. we're looking at here is Doyle McCormick's PA1, nickel plate number 190. The locomotive was built in 1948 by American Locomotive Works, General Electric. It was built for the Santa Fe as number 62L. It was retired and sold to the Delaware and Hudson around 1967, where it became D&H engine number 18. In 1978, it was sold to Ferrocarriles Nacionales de Mexico, Mexico's state-owned railway system. After developing mechanical issues, it became a parts source for other engines. Current owner Doyle McCormick, and a fan of the nickel plate line since childhood, bought the locomotive. The nickel plate ran PA1s, and he worked alongside the Smithsonian to negotiate the return of the locomotive and one other PA1, the Santa Fe 59L, to the United States. Both engines arrived back in the United States in 2000 on Easter Sunday, and an extensive 14-year restoration began soon after. There are only 2 PA1 units in the country. The locomotive now bears nickel plate colors and has been renumbered to 190, and it's housed in the Oregon Rail Heritage Center in Portland, Oregon. So far, it's 14 years into restoration, and within the next couple of years, Doyle says it will be operational and will be able to run under its own power. This is the longest traveled locomotive to make it here, and one of the fan favorites. Came all the way from Portland, Oregon to us, moving across BNSF Railway and Norfolk Southern to arrive here at Spencer. So we thank Doyle McCormick, the railroads involved in getting it here, and everyone involved in getting the nickel plate 190 out here for us to take a look at.
Over. Go ahead, Ford. Yeah, I'm over here near the Ohio.
And no prime mover, no walker, nor truck. Pickup truck. Working on the street.
Hey, what time are y'all start running train rides today?
Yeah, we go down.
Had a couple train moves to make before you get the other locomotive out to get on the train.
Yeah.
Probably be about 11 o'clock before we get done. Start running. Thank you, sir.
They've got the pictures.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got a copy? 9911, over. Yes, sir, you're good to come north through the short lane switch, over. 9911, coming up through the short lane switch. There we go.
All right. Well,
We're now looking at Wabash number 1009. This is owned by the Virginia Museum of Transportation. It's an E8 locomotive built in 1951 by Electromotive Division of General Motors. It was 2,250 horsepower from two 567B 12-cylinder prime movers. Number 1009 is notable as a 10,000 locomotive produced by General Motors Electromotive Division. The locomotive pulled Wabash passenger trains, including the Banner Blue, the Wabash Cannonball, and the Bluebird. When the Wabash Railroad came under Norfolk and Western control in 1964, the 1009 was sent to the Virginia Museum of Transportation. This locomotive has undergone a complete restoration last year at Norfolk Southern's Chattanooga, Tennessee facility. It does not actually operate, and that's why we had to bring it out with our honorary Streamliner, our Buck Steam Station switcher. We'll be placing it in the track here at the Roundhouse shortly as we bring the locomotives back from the night photo shoot. What you'll see here from here out for a little bit is E units returning to the Roundhouse.
Hanson, give me a bottle.